All right, so this one hopefully will be a little shorter than some of my other video journals here, but this is on motivation. And as I was preparing for this and thinking it over, I realized I have probably migrated through the motivation chain through the years. Originally taking a job, obviously, with a company that I knew was a pretty good place to work for, but the thing there was the pay. Was married and needed to be able to support myself and my wife, who was also working as well. So we were a dual income family and pretty well stayed there through the years. And then, of course, later came the kids, and that's even more of a motivation, is providing for them, because they are expensive things to provide for. I can actually jokingly recall thinking, once I get these guys out of diapers, we'll have it made. Boy, if I only knew then what I know now. So started out obviously just for the basic wages, for the job security, and things like that. So Maslow probably aligned with a lot of that. Worked for a company where performance was one of the things they recognized. So was a merit pay company. So worked a lot of long hours, worked a lot of did a lot of hard work, and was fortunately rewarded for it in that respect. And stayed with that company for 27 years until I moved into a solar facility. And after being with one company for 27 years and suddenly finding yourself unemployed at the tender age of 47 years old, was very tickled to find somebody to work for doing something that I had always wanted to do, which was instructing, and it was solar. And I began to do that, and my pay was chopped almost in half by that happening, but that was okay. We were at a point where both kids were pretty much out of the house. They were on their own and could afford to take that hit much better than we could have probably if the children had been younger and all there. So now I think I tend to see a lot of the McClelland's theory as far as motivation. Part of my motivation is and always has been to perform. I think it's an image of who we are and represents us in that respect. And it's not so much a power trip or anything, I don't think. It's just that you want people to know that you're representing them to the best that you can. And that's how I would, if I had a company and people worked for me, that's what I would hope they would do. So now I'm teaching in a technical college, and again, the pay is not extraordinary, but the working culture and climate is the ability to pass on what I've learned is one of the things that I love most about this job, is being able to find people with connected interests that want to learn things that I know. Not that I know everything, but having spent many years in industrial automation, having spent time being mentored by others, I'm now able to do that and still receive that, because I still have mentors here at my work as we speak. So I'm probably moving more towards the achievement. Power, maybe not so much, but just, it does obviously feel good to be recognized for your skills and abilities, and the college has done that in numerous ways over the years, but that's not my primary focus. Again, still want to work for a wage, still want to get paid, but my motivation is still in part to for my employer to understand that I'm looking out for their best interest, which I think suits my interest overall, because if I'm doing as good a job as I'm capable of doing, and that's fulfilling what my employer wants, then it's a win-win as far as I can see. And the affiliation, part of belonging, I have been extremely fortunate. I have worked for 3 companies since I've been 20 years old. One was a industrial automation manufacturer. One was a solar plant that I worked for about a year, and now I'm here almost on year 9. And I have worked with a very family-oriented culture in all 3 of those. Each had their own degree, but overall they were still very family and friendly-based companies. There was not a case of having power struggles, everywhere. I mean, obviously, I think there's always those within every organization at certain levels and between certain people, but overall, just generally good companies to be a part of, highly ethical companies that and organizations that you read about some of these that are not so, and you just can't imagine having to live in the environment. So that's the other motivation. When you're part of a company that is that good of a company to work for, you certainly want to maintain that status and be a part of that. So yeah, I've rambled a lot, but anyway, my motivation is, in a nutshell, to represent myself as best I can to my employer, and of course, I obviously do have to get paid because things cost money, and that's a part of it, but it's not a huge part of it. It is one part, but being the best employee that I can is probably one of the nearest and dearest things to my heart. And as part of what I'm doing for college, obviously, is on the power side. It's not so much for the power trip, but it is an opportunity to move up and advance. And as I'm getting near within 10 years of retirement age, that's also part of my plan. So that's part of the motivation, part of the hierarchy as well. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I hope this made a lot of sense. Seemed like I rambled a lot, but we'll go with it. Thanks.